I'm just going to go through some key features about how to revise your system and your learning as we go through the year. We're a little bit way through it now, so it's no harm just taking a breath and thinking about, well, what should I do? How do I keep this going? How to revise my system? So we're just going to do that today. Any questions on it, please let me know, and you can send me an email and let me know, and we can see what happens. So what we want to have a look at is what are you actually currently doing now? Where are you? What's happening? What are you working on? How are you doing it? Is there a better way of doing it? A better way of thinking about all of this? So there'll be no harm for you to just take a breath and stop and think about what's actually happening. Are you working on the right things? Are there the things you can think about? Are there resources that you can use? So we're just going to have a quick look at that today. So here's some things to consider, to sort of think about and work on. But five or six little questions here. The first one would be, what have you discovered about yourself and about where are you heading? And once you've just discussed that, then we'll have a little look at, are you looking at your work-life balance, or is this getting too much for you? Do you need a new strategy? Do you need better planning? So what strategy are you adopting to fit all of this into your work life? We'll have a quick look at the resources that are available, or the resources that you're using, or the resources that you can use. So what resources have you, and what's supporting you? How are you using those resources? What works best for you? So we'll have a quick look at some questions you can ask yourself and think about these things. Then we'll have, I would challenge you to start thinking about what things would you give up to enhance your strategy. So we'll have a quick look at what some of those things are. They're a little more simple than you actually think. I'm not saying they're very easy to do, but they're probably a little bit simpler than you think. And then thinking about all of this, well, you're going through a massive learning curve here. What are your three priorities? What it is you want, what is it you want to prioritize? What's the important things? So the first thing is, what insights have you discovered? So it would be something along the lines of, what new learnings have you discovered? Have you learned stuff from other modules, or outside or inside of work? It doesn't matter where your learnings are coming from. So have you learned new coaching skills, new communication skills, and more time management skills, leadership skills? Standard business skills. Have you learned to do things that you can pass those skills on, or use those skills for your learning here and talk about them? And once you have, these insights, what you've actually learned right now at this point in time, how can you apply them? Are they just for you? Or can you apply them to your teams? Can you apply them to your work-based learning modules or your assessments? So how can you apply these skills, and where can you apply them, and when? There's other things to ask yourself, like, what insights have you discovered? Are you excited to continue with this? Are you frightened? Oh my goodness, it's a lot of work. What are you feeling right now? What's going on in your head, and what would you do with this information? So if you're excited, that's great. What else can you learn? What else can you do with it? Are you frightened? Why? Why would you be frightened? So is it too much work? Where can you get help? Who can you talk to? So just think about how you're actually feeling, and what you can do with those feelings. And the other thing I said to you, is there any other learnings that you're getting from the different modules that you're using? Are there learnings in there that you can use? Because you can certainly use those learnings as objectives, or to talk about, or in your assessments, or in your uploads that you might use eventually. So are there other learnings from different modules, or different readings that you're doing from different modules that you can use? The next thing to think about is your work-life balance. Now, this tends to be a toughie because you're fitting in a whole 12-month study program into what was predominantly probably a fairly busy work life already. So you need to think about, how are you adapting to that? What are you doing to fit this into your work-life balance? So people will talk about, things like schedules. Have you a schedule in place? Can you fit everybody in? So if you sit down and do a schedule out, so can you fit in your partner? Can you fit in your friends, your kids, your activities? We'll talk about now how important exercise is. Are you getting your exercise in? So are you able to fit everything in? And to try and do that, maybe you could consider a schedule, or, planning around your schedule, making sure you have a plan, making sure you're able to fit it all in. Other people, have talked about and try and do all of this, that completing assessments on time or tasks on time, that they could be work tasks on time, is pretty important, because they're not then playing on your mind, and they're not starting to gather momentum as you've got this assessment to do and that one to do, and then you've got a work task to do and something else, and they're starting to all impact on how on your time, on what you're thinking, and how you're thinking, about doing it. Other people talk about they give themselves a space of time. So they'd say, well, right, tonight I'm going to work on my assessments, and I'm going to turn off my email notifications. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm going to turn off the TV. I'm just going to focus on getting this done. So it's about making sure that you have given yourself every opportunity to concentrate and get whatever it is you're trying to get done in that space and time. Back to planning. Have you planned for that time? Would you have given yourself that hour? Then just turn off your notifications. And you can tell people, I'm not available for an hour. So the importance of allocating time and resource to doing this is quite important. So have you looked at the time and the resource that you need? Are you trying to find an extra 30 minutes in the day, 30 minutes a week, an hour a week, 2 hours a week? What is it trying to find that will fit into your current very busy work life and very busy life? So, and to do that, then what's the resource that you need? So what's out there that we can help you with? And we'll go through that in just a few minutes. The other thing we would suggest, that maybe, what's your own behavior? Are you sticking to your plans? Are you able to stick to your schedules, or do you just go, I'll just watch one more episode, I'll do it later? So sometimes it's about your own behaviors and what you're doing and your own attitude, and your ability to stick with what you have agreed to do, and your attitude towards that. So maybe have a quick look at that. Or are you overworking? Are you doing too much? So you got to get the balance in. So if you're doing your assessments like 3 weeks in advance, well, then actually you're not right up to date. You need to actually give yourself the learning. You've got to, be able to write about the learning for those 3 weeks. So, think about what you're doing and how you're doing it. You don't leave it to the last minute. Don't do it too soon. There has to be the perfect time in between. So you think about your work-life balance and how you're getting this all into your system. This is how to balance your whole system, how to revise your system, what to look at, what to consider, how to plan more, how to get things done, how to plan your learning. Once you've done all of that, then we would suggest that, have a look at the resources that we have around you. So have you been using a mentor? Can you find a mentor? It can be in the university, it can be in work, it can be out of work, it could be in your church, it could be in your community, so in a business community around you. So is there somebody around you that you can just bounce some ideas off or talk to? Are you part of a study group? Have you set up a study group? There's WhatsApp group going on. Has your year set up a WhatsApp group to talk? Have you invited the tutor or somebody to join you to some of those conversations? Other resources are, you've got reading lists in Moodle, you have examples, you have templates, you have lectures to go to, you have videos to look at, you have a tutor in place who should help you, you have an academic advisor, you have a careers consultant, and you have a library assistant, and also work-based learning, global online assistance for those of you who have problems with the system. So there's quite a lot of resources out there that you have to support you, and they're there for you to use, and we would expect you to use them. And also, of course, if you have any questions, use the resources around you. So use everybody. There's lots of people there. The question I would suggest I will pose to you just right now is, how are you using these resources? Are you using all of them? Are you using some of them? Are you ignoring some of them? What's suiting you? What's helping you? So you have reading lists in Moodle. Have you gone off and done your own reading, which is perfectly fine? Or have you used the lists in Moodle? There's tools in Moodle. There's ideas in Moodle, there's examples in Moodle. So please just use the resources that you have to help you. So one other thing that you can start thinking about how to revise your system and keep sort of updated. What would you give if, 3 things, just think about, 3 things that you would give up to enhance your strategy. So make sure things happen, make sure you can fit it in. So these are some suggestions that other people have made. So give up watching too much television. Happy to do that, fit an hour in or half an hour in at some point in time, either during the week or at the weekends. Give up watching too much movies. A movie can be up to 2 hours, maybe longer, some of them. So maybe that give you a little bit more time. Give up starting late. If I said I'm going to start early, I'll start early. So don't start late, because you're starting late, then you put pressure on yourself. Focus, beginning to focus. So they're going to not give up anything, but they're actually going to enhance their strategy by starting to focus, begin to focus and say, I need to get this done. So give up having full weekends. Give yourself a break. Use the time better. Give yourself an hour at some stage, maybe an hour a day over a weekend. Use the time better. Some people say they would get less sleep, so they start earlier, or they work later. So a little bit less sleep, so give up a bit of sleep. I'm not saying that's what you need to do, or that's even a good idea, but if you can fit it into your day and you're able to survive the day with less sleep, that might work for you. Somebody else said that they would like to stick to their schedule. Big challenge, especially in work. It's very hard to stick to your schedule if people are pulling out of you and they want things done on time. So they're going to try and aim to stick to their schedule, which means sometimes they have to reorganize their time. So they're going to change their schedule to reorganize their time. Other people talked about reducing the social times in a week. So if you go out twice a week, maybe go out once a week, maybe make those times out a little bit shorter. So they're going to reduce their social times. And also a big one for some people is when you're finished work, finish work. So allow work to be left at work. Don't bring it home, because when you get home, you have your kids, you've got your family, you've got your whatever, you've got your shopping to do, you've got your dinners to do, you've got, all the things that happen in life. So allow work to be left at home if possible. It's not always possible. So shorten your work day, and I don't mean by you leave early. You actually stop work on time and then start working on something else. So allow work to be left at work if possible. So if you think about this, then think about what could your 3 priorities be. And here's some suggestions: catching up on all your assessments, finish them on time, maybe. Catching up on work assessments, finishing them on time if possible. Complete work and study assessments when they're due. Spend a little bit more time learning, applying the knowledge. So putting into practice what you have learned, because this will allow you to talk about it in your final assessment. If you put it into practice, well, here's what I said I would do. Here was my objective. Then I did this, and this is what happened. Gives you a lot more to talk about. So apply the knowledge. It could be reading more and understand what you're reading. If you can't understand what you're reading, please ask questions. Establish clear and realistic daily goals. Or in fact, some people have weekly goals, so maybe it's a weekly goal. Somebody has prioritized having a consistent start and end study time. So I'm going to give myself an hour Monday morning before I go to work. I'll get up at 7 instead of 8 o'clock, and I'll start for the hour. Give yourself consistent start and end study time, so your brain knows this is what I need to be doing right at this point in time. Other people have actually reduced their work hours to fit this in. And somebody else says they're going to ask for assistance when needed. Please do. You have lots of people that you can ask. People who are online most of the time are happy to help you if you pop them an email. If you go back to your timetable, you'll see you are scheduled to talk to somebody almost every week. So there'll be somebody around to help you if you would like some assistance. So you could pick your own 3 priorities. What is it that you specifically wanted? So over to you. Why not think about all of these questions and ask yourself the following? Try and fill them out. Try and think, how are you going to support yourself in your study? Keep your system going. Keep your learning up to date. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do to change to do that if it's not working for you right now? Thank you. That's all that we wanted to talk about today. So it was really about how to help yourself, give yourself some hints and tips about how you can actually prioritize your learning, prioritize what you want to do, fit it into a very busy life. And please look for help where we can help you.